Freddie Freeman discusses his future plans. Will he retire as a member of the Dodgers? Also, an absolutely brutal stretch for the Dodgers over the next month. We're going to break it down. We're also answering your questions. We got Q&LA Dodgers Nation mailbag where I'm answering all of your questions. We're talking trades on Friday. Walker Buehler going off against Francisco Lindor. Mets, Dodgers, so much to get into here on a jam-packed Friday episode of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Ryan Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Starts the 50-50 clock. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Also, join the Discord. Also, subscribe to my new show, The Big Lead, the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour. I asked you guys over on the X for today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys, do you believe that Freddie Freeman will end his career with the Dodgers? And right now, 95% of you say yes, while just 5% of you say no, and that's what we're going to get into first here on the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So there's a lot of hot stories in Dodger baseball, but I want to continue on this one that we started yesterday, and that is about the future of Freddie Freeman, the Dodgers World Series MVP, the hero, Fredericks of Hollywood, who almost fell into the Dodgers' lap in a sense after he doesn't go back to the Atlanta Braves. His agent, there was a lot of talk that he didn't give them the final offer, and then Freddie Freeman fires his agent, and it was just big drama situation. But I think that ultimately, if Freddie looks back and he asks himself honestly, what was the right thing for Freddie Freeman? What was the best thing for my family, for my career? I think that, hey, even if you do want to make the case that his agent totally flubbed it and that maybe Freddie would have gone back to Atlanta if his agent did a better job, I think Freddie Freeman will say, hey, that was the best mistake that's happened to me, right? I think that he'll look back and say, I'm glad that my agent did what he did or didn't do what he was supposed to because I ended up with the Los Angeles Dodgers. My family loves it here. My dad gets to watch me play. Oh, and guess what? I did have one of the most iconic moments in the history of the sport when I became the first player ever to walk off in a World Series game the way he did, the way Freddie met Gibby, the way he did. And I think that he looks back and he's glad that he ended up in L.A. Now, the question is, does he finish his career in L.A.? Because after this season, Freddie Freeman, I know time's been flying. He has just 2 more years remaining on his contract. After this season, the Dodgers originally signed him to a 6-year, $162 million deal after the 2021 season. And now we're at a point where he's still extremely productive. He's still a great player. If you look at the season he's having right now, Freddie Freeman is still putting up MVP numbers, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. I've labeled him baseball's version of fine wine, and clearly he is doing just that. He's second in the sport behind Aaron Judge with a 195 weighted runs created plus. He's second behind Aaron Judge with a 368 batting average, 9 home runs, 34 doubles. He's looking fantastic at the plate, Well, recently he told Bill Plunkett of the Southern California News Group about his plans for the future. And he told Plunkett, obviously, it's not set in stone. I have 2 more years left on this contract after 2025. Then I would like to play 2 more years. I would turn 40 in September of 2029. So including this year, if I were to do 150 hits for all 5 years, just an average, you reach 3,000 hits. Obviously, father time, you never know when that's going to hit. I'm going to keep it as long as I can. If I can have decent years this year and the next couple years, it's an easier reach. So if you watched the episode I did about Freddie Freeman a few months ago, what did I say? I said that Freddie Freeman is close enough to pursue the 3,000 hit milestone, that if he averaged 150 hits for the next 5 years, that he would reach that. That's what I said on the show, and clearly that is what Freddie Freeman wants to do. Now, from 2021 to 2024, Freddie averaged 186 hits per season. If he maintains that, great. But even if there is a little bit of a fall off and he averaged 150 hits per year, he could get to 3K hits. And for the active hits leader, for someone that has made his baseball identity about his ability to get his bat on the ball, go to all fields, and just kind of embrace that version of being a hitter. I love that about Freddie Freeman, is that he almost feels like a throwback in the sense that he's a guy that, yes, has hit 38 home runs in a season during his career. He had 29 home runs for the Dodgers a couple of seasons ago. He can be a 30 home run guy easily, but he's always embraced the hitting aspect of it. And he does feel like he's just one of those guys that wants to be able to achieve this. So, hey, I think how this impacts the Dodgers is Freddie is a guy that's going to be playing first base. And the defense actually is better this year at first base than it's been for the last couple of seasons. So he's looking good, even with the ankle and kind of being hobbled a little bit, not at 100%. I mean, he's still, you can just kind of see him favoring it out there at times. I saw him in the clubhouse after a game, and there was just a couple Dodgers in there. It was long after the game ended, and he was getting treatment, and it was 11 o'clock at night. So he's clearly getting a ton of treatment on it, but he can only play first base. And Shohei Ohtani, of course, he's locking up the DH spot. We'll see, does Shohei come back and pitch a couple more years? If he does not, does he consider playing in the outfield? I mean, there's a lot of questions. And then you look at that first base spot with Dalton Rushing. If Dalton Rushing hits, and they make him a left fielder, do they want him to be a catcher? Do they want Will Smith to convert to first base? I mean, there's so many questions, right? But the truth of the matter is if he continues to hit, you know the Dodgers are going to want to keep him in Los Angeles. And I think for him and his legacy, you have to feel even better about the possibility of him going into the Hall of Fame with a LA Dodgers logo on his plaque. And that's because if he plays another 2 years, that sets him at 8 years. But hey, that's starting to get up to the 10-year mark, right? I mean, and if the Dodgers win a couple more World Series, if he continues to put up elite seasons, you can make the case that Freddie Freeman had his best years with the boys in blue. Hey, I don't care that he was with Atlanta for 12 years. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And the good time that he's had in LA has led to championships. So let's see if he can win another World Series with LA. Let's see if he can win a MVP possibly. Who knows? And it's a full game season MVP, which I think would carry more weight for sure. So that's where Freddie Freeman's at. And I just found that very interesting to know that it wants to play more years out of that contract and go after 3,000. But welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. Thanks for rocking with us here on a Friday. Big weekend of baseball for your Los Angeles Dodgers. The Mets on the road. Let's read some comments, then we'll hit our first break. And then we are going to get into a brutal schedule for the Dodgers. Juice Narrows, Will Smith is eventually taking first base, and Dalton Rushing will be the starting catcher. Yeah, as I just mentioned, right? That's something that you could see. James Donlian, D-Mac, you're the best coverage of Dodgers anywhere, so lucky to have your expertise in podcast being #1. Hey, appreciate you, James. Right back to you. Look, I'm so lucky to have you guys. I mean, you guys I mean, you guys are the co-host of this show. So, I mean, give yourself all the credit. But I appreciate that for sure. Thank you so much. Silo's Kirsch on the mound equals nervous time. Yeah, second start back on the road in New York. That's not going to be easy. Valahila Sports Talk, that retweet of yours today had me thinking Sportsnet Fox had given you a call, D-Mac, LOL. Atlanta treated Freddie Freeman like old moldy cheese in the fridge that you toss out. That's a good one. Give you a nice little, give you some love for that. Give you some love for that.
Fire take.
I hope he stays with the Dodgers from Daniel. We got Kershaw, got a dose. That's so funny. Kershaw got to hit Lindor one time today for Buehler. We're going to talk about that later. I actually talked to Kershaw in the Dodgers clubhouse about the Buehler incident, which was pretty awesome. Justin Lama says, Jesus, I get it. Freeman is great. Let's not make it seem like Olsen is a scrub. He's younger and has a ton of power and cheaper. He's also from Atlanta. Both Freeman and Olsen are better than they need to be. Yeah, it was an Andy and Buzz Lightyear situation for sure. Anthony Keene, my man, my dude. Dodgers need to extend Fredericks of Hollywood today. I love that. That's a comment of the show right there.
You win. Perfect.
All right, guys, coming up next, a brutal stretch for the Dodgers that could ultimately determine their season, the division, the best record. We're going to break that down next on Dodgers Dugout Live. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the number one Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. And just a reminder that today's episode of Dodgers Dugout Live is brought to you by our friends over at Factor. Dodgers nights just got even better because now you don't have to miss a single pitch worrying about dinner. With Factor, you can enjoy fresh, chef-prepared meals ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no cleanup. That means more time locked into the game and less time in the kitchen. Whether you're watching from home or heading to the ballpark, Factor's got you covered with over 45 weekly options from Protein Plus to Calorie Smart to Keto. My favorite, the garlic herb chicken and creamy tomato risotto, elite fuel for game day. And right now, Dodgers get an exclusive offer. Go to factormeals.com/Dodgers50 off and use code Dodgers50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Factor makes it easy to eat well, save time, and cheer harder. Let's go, Dodgers. So, yeah, go to Factor. Great stuff. All right, guys, here in our second segment, we got to talk about this brutal schedule for the Los Angeles Dodgers because this next 4 weeks, 5 weeks is going to go a long way in determining whether or not the Dodgers will win the division, whether or not they'll finish with the best record in Major League Baseball and get home field advantage. Let's not forget that, yes, even though the Dodgers won 98 games and it wasn't your typical 100-win Dodgers season, they still finished with the best record in baseball. And that did lead to 2 home wins against the Yankees and a walk-off bomb salami from Freddie Freeman, right? So, I mean, that is something I still think you want to pursue. I'm all for trying to have the best record in baseball. And this stretch that's coming up for the Dodgers, it's going to be brutal. Make no mistake about it. Tonight, you start a 3-game series with the New York Mets. And in that series, you're going up against one of the best pitching staffs in baseball right now. And the Dodgers, you're going with guys that have had some down starts recently. So the Dodgers have Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin, and Landon Knack going this series. All of them aren't coming off deep starts where they've been at their best. Hopefully, Tony Gonsolin, it was the blister thing, the bloody thumb thing, and he can get back to the Tony Smokes, the Gunslinger that we saw in the first couple of starts where you saw a lot of strikeouts and swing and misses. Landon Knack, he's giving up home runs at a higher clip than he has in his career. Hopefully you get a better start from him. Clayton Kershaw, it's going to be his second start back. So the velocity was okay. The slider didn't have the same depth and bite that we've seen it, but hopefully in his second start it's better. But you're going up against a Mets pitching staff that has the best rotation as far as ERA in all of Major League Baseball. You got Griffin, Canning. this season a 2.47 ERA. He's given up just 10 runs in his last 7 games. Then you take on David Peterson, who's allowed just 1 run in his last start in 6 innings against a very hot New York Yankees offense. And then you go against Kodai Senga, who is Yamamoto's biggest competition right now for the Cy Young in the National League, sporting a 1.43 ERA. So the pitching advantage has to go to the Mets early in this one, but you are looking at a Mets team that is just 30-20, right? They have 1 less win than the Dodgers, and they've gone 2-4 in their last 6 games. So they've gone 2-4 in the last 6 games. They're trying to really get right against this Dodgers team, kind of avenge that loss in the NLCS, or of course you'll avenge it in the regular season. But look, it's going to be a sellout. It's going to be a amped up game, 3 nationally televised games in this one. So look, this is going to be the biggest series in baseball over the next 3 days. And kind of the big factor for me is, do you get quality starting pitching from your starters? Does Juan Soto wake up? I mean, he hasn't been terrible, around 129 weighted runs created plus, but hasn't been the $765 million man, right? He's been so-so for Soto, and this year he's hitting 243, 347, 429, has 8 home runs. That's well below his career average. I mean, in his career average is 283. Batting average, that's down to 243. On base, slug, all that's down. So we'll see if he comes alive this series. But you go past that, and then you kind of start to break down this stretch. Well, the Dodgers, for the rest of the way, they have the 8th easiest schedule. 23 out of 30 teams, 4 games remaining. And right now, the Dodgers, you have 112 games remaining. And the toughest in that stretch, you got the Phillies, the Yankees, the Mets, 7 against the Mets, 13 against the Giants, Mariners, if you count that as 3, and they have 13 still against the San Diego Padres. Their easiest opponents down that stretch are, you got 10 against the Rockies, 3 against the White Sox, 3 against the Pirates, 3 against the Orioles, 3 against the Nationals, and 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays. But what makes this stretch so difficult is it's coming at a time when you don't have your best pitching depth. I mean, when you look at where the Dodgers are at right now and their rotation, Yamamoto, he's pitching at a Cy Young level. He was fantastic, took a no-hitter into the 7th inning his last start. Dustin May's coming off, I think, really one of the best starts of his entire career against the Diamondbacks. Gave up just a solo home run to Ketel Marte. Then after that, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Landon Knack. So with this stretch right here, you're looking at 6 games on the road that start tonight against the Mets and the Guardians. And those are good teams. And then after that, you're looking at a stretch of games where it only gets harder. You're coming home to face the Yankees and a primetime matchup for 3 that starts a week from today on Friday, a 3-game set against the Yankees, and then the Mets come to town for 4 games. Then you go on the road to face St. Louis, and then 3 against San Diego, and then you have the Giants at home starting on June 13th, a 3-game series, and then a 4-game series against the Padres that begins June 16th, and then a 3-game home set against the Nationals. That's the easiest in that stretch. So you look at the matchups that are starting tonight. You got Mets, you got Guardians, you got Yankees, you got Cardinals, Padres, Giants, and then Padres once again. So if you look at that stretch, all of those opponents are above 500. And all of them are teams that either are locks to be in the postseason or teams that are fighting for the postseason. And then you factor in that the Dodgers in that stretch have just 2 days off. You're looking at just 2 days off during that stretch. You've got next Thursday off, and then you've got the Thursday off on June 12th in between the Padres and the Giants. So that's not a good time to not have your depth. And you also factor, that's a 19 games and 20 games through June 11th. And then that's a 38-game stretch over a 41-day span. So lots of good teams, lots of teams with winning records, and you look at the bullpen right now. Outside of Tanner Scott and Alex Vesia, you're really missing your go-to high-leverage arms. Blake Trinan's not available. Evan Phillips is not available. You could get Michael Kopech, and you should get Michael Kopech, quite frankly, at some point during the next couple of weeks during this stretch. Anthony Bonda hasn't pitched well like he did last season. Your Kirby Yates is out with a hamstring injury. Your best high-leverage right-handed reliever is Ben Kasparius, and he's been really, really good for sure. He was fantastic the other night, coming in with runners on the corners and getting the strikeout to end the inning with a nasty slider down the zone. But you're going to need guys to step up. And I think during this stretch, you're going to see a lot of guys going up and down from Oklahoma City. We could see some DFAs. I'm curious to see how Lou Trevino looks, because Lou Trevino, he, in 2 appearances, looks like he could be a guy that could almost be like a Johan Ramirez type, and at best be hopefully a Ryan Brazier type or an Evan Phillips type, right? Someone that came to the Dodgers, implemented that cutter, and is immediately having more success with it. So it's not going to be easy, but the beauty of this is if you can get through this gauntlet, if you can get through this brutal stretch, 20 games in 21 days, then you have the easiest schedule on paper in the mix for that after this stretch. And that is absolutely what you want to do right now. Is look, if you play 500 baseball for the next 4 or 5 weeks, if you play over 500 baseball for the next 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to be getting Shohei Ohtani back, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow. Guys are going to get healthy. The bullpen guys, a good chunk of them, hopefully will be returning, and you'll get those reinforcements on the way, and they'll stay back. So that really is where they're at right now. I'm sure you're probably going to see Justin Robleski. I mean, Bobby Miller had a really good start. Maybe you see him. Do they give Nick Frasso an opportunity? The Noah Davis, Ryan Ludus. I mean, get ready to learn some names. Get ready to see some guys you might not have seen. But like I said, the beauty of all this is after you take on these 8 straight opponents that have winning percentages above 500, the Dodgers are going to have the lightest schedule in the sport after this stretch. So buckle up. Let's try to do your best right now. And look, if the losses start to pile up, you just kind of have to tread water at the very least. And then look, there's no reason why. I mean, look, Shohei Ohtani is hot right now. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts is trending up. The MV3 looks like they're healthy and they can carry. It just, can they get the pitching? I mean, we just don't know what you're going to get out of Clayton Kershaw and Landon Knack. I think we have a good idea about what Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May can bring. And Yamamoto is Yamamoto, right? But, I mean, you're missing so many guys. Roki, Glasnow, Snell. Shohei's not back. So get to the All-Star break. Get to the All-Star break, and you will be just fine after this stretch. This is the tough stretch. This is where you're kind of, I mean, you're playing Street Fighter, and instead of facing Dalzim in the first round or Blanca, I mean, Blanca's pretty hard on hard, but it's like you're facing M. Bison and Saget, but it's kind of towards the beginning of the game, not towards the end, right? It's not going to be easy, but if you can make it through this stretch at a decent clip, you're going to be fine for the rest of the way, at least on paper. Let me know down below in the comments section, how confident are you the Dodgers play above 500 baseball during this stretch of games? A $5 super chat. Out of the entire Dodgers roster, who do you think is the most hung with the bit? Oh, come on, man. You're getting a bruh. Gonna get a bruh. Come on now, man.
Bruh.
You might get a ban for that. You're actually probably going to get a ban for that, not going to lie. We got Prone to Thrill. I'd sure like to hear that Sheehan has come back to replace. Now, yeah, you're going to see him. I mean, Dave Roberts said that he was a pick to click at some point during the summer, so he's certainly going to make his way back. Edgardo Henriquez is pitching better as well, so don't forget about that as far as his rehab. He's throwing to Arizona. I mean, Blake Trinan picking up a ball. I mean, things are looking okay for sure, but still, LOL, that one funny. Way to get banned. Nando, I know. Look, man, you got to realize the players watch the show, okay? So the team watch. You guys got to be on your best behavior sometimes, for sure. But if we need to have a party, you have a block party. Anthony Keene, that stretch of Vega and then Saget would take hours, bro. I'm still traumatized. Yeah, when Vega, it's like you got Vega, and I only play Street Fighter on the hardest level. Hadouken, step by step Hadouken, all you can. I mean, I only play on the hard level, and when you see Vega climbing on the fence, and you only need to hit him one more time with like a dragon punch, and he climbs on the fence, and then he ends you that way. It's the most demoralizing loss for sure. But all right, guys, coming up next, it's Q and LA Dodgers Dugout Live mailbag. Got a lot of good ones this week. If you guys want to submit a question, I drop the post on the YouTube comment section, also in the Discord. Also, hit me up on Twitter, and we will include you on the show. So lots of really good questions. We're going to get on to that also later. Down on the Farm Friday, got something with Jackson Ferris. We'll also talk some Buehler here on a jam-packed episode, a Friday edition, a Dodgers Mets leading up to edition. It's going to be exciting, man. Citi Field, Dodgers Mets. I'm ready. I'm ready to have the same success as they had in the NLCS. But all right, guys, let's do it. We've got some mailbag questions to get into.
Q and LA Dodgers Dugout mailbag.
You got mail.
All right, first question we've got today. This comes from Adam GH3BI. If the Pirates, for some reason, traded Skeens, what could you realistically see the Dodgers giving up? So, I mean, it's just tough to put a valuation on Skeens. Having contacted some insiders with the Pirates, most of them believe that there is a 0% chance they even consider trading him because of how valuable a draw he is. I would trade him possibly if I was them because he could get injured, and if you're not going to pay him, then what's the point? If you're not going to put a team around him, what's the point? But look, you're talking about gutting your farm system. I mean, Dalton Rushing gone, Jose De Paula gone, Zaire Hope gone, Jackson Ferris gone. I mean, top prospects. I mean, if they want Andy Pajes, Hassan Kim, gone. You would have to absolutely take off the Rolex, throw it in the middle of the table, take the wife's earrings, throw it in the middle of the table, the lien on the mortgage. I mean, you would have to give up everything for a Paul Skeens. And if the Pirates truly made it known that they were willing to shop him, it would be a massive bidding war that we have never seen. I mean, it would be one of the biggest bidding wars ever. And yes, he's a high risk starting pitcher, which makes it difficult for teams to want to give those assets, but he's so good that you would definitely be willing to do that. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's pre-arbitration for the next couple of years. I mean, this is someone that is extremely young, and he's not going to be a free agent for a long, long time. I mean, you're not going to see him as a free agent until after the 2029 season. So tons and tons of team control. We'd have to give up everything to get him. So that's kind of where that would be. Okay, next question. This comes from Johnny over on YouTube. Hey, D-Mac, would you prefer McMahon over Muncy or Arenado at this point? Good question. I think I'm hoping that Max Muncy turns things around and he gets back to the player that we've seen throughout most of his career, which has been a guy that spent 20% above league average. You can get 30-plus home runs from him, 100 RBIs, acceptable defense at times. Unfortunately for Max Muncy, 92% below league average. Has been better over the last couple of weeks. So I think that if you're wanting him to trend in the right direction, he is certainly doing just that. But still, I mean, I think for me, if 3 home runs hitting 205 and we're almost at June. So I think, too, that you also look at the defense for Muncy. Hasn't been great, hasn't been stellar. The defense for Muncy, you're looking at a 2 outs above average percentile. I mean, he's in the second percentile outs above average with a -5 there are some things that are encouraging. An 81st percentile hard hit percentage, has taken his walks. Strikeouts are up. But yeah, as far as McMahon over Arenado, I think, honestly, Ryan McMahon's a really interesting guy. I mean, he's been really hot, hitting 299 with a 965 OPS in this month of May. He's really started to heat up on a terrible team, one of the worst teams in professional sports. Nolan Arenado this year has cooled off a little bit for sure. I mean, Nolan Arenado and Max Muncy are essentially identical when it comes to weighted runs created plus. Muncy's at 92 and Arenado is at 93. He has 5 home runs. Muncy has 3. So McMahon's the younger player. I mean, I don't think the Rockies would want to do a deal with the Dodgers, so that could just kind of be a moot point. But if I had to pick, if they were going to move on from Max Muncy, my number one thing, I just want to make this very clear, my number one thing is that Max Muncy just goes on a tear, is the Max Muncy we've seen for most of his career, slugging, getting big home runs. He got the sac fly walk-off the other day, so hopefully that kind of turns things around from a little bit as well. But if I had to pick between Arenado and McMahon, if you're asking me that question, I would probably go with McMahon at this point. I mean, I think that McMahon's defense is good, really good. He's younger, some potential there to kind of be better. I think with Arenado, still 3 years, $74 million on his contract heading into the season, with the Rockies being on the hook for $5 million in the final installment of the $51 million that they agreed to pay when they traded him. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at an Arenado that probably is around 62, 64 million for what he would be owed. Who knows if the Cardinals would pay down some of that for prospects for another team? That's also a possibility. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to Arenado if they wanted to make a position change. But I think McMahon right now is better. And like I said, I want to see Max Muncy be Max Muncy. And he's starting to get there. So I think that right now, if I had to guess, I would say Max Muncy is going to be their third baseman for the season, unless there's a significant drop-off or an injury and they think that they can upgrade that position. I think that they made it very clear with the decision on Chris Taylor and Austin Barnes that it's all about putting together the best roster that they can possibly put together. But, yeah, let's hope that he can really get right at the plate. That's kind of the number one thing I'm looking for. Okay, some more questions. QNLA Dodgers Dugout mailbag. Jaden X5V, why did they waive Chris Taylor in the first place? So we've talked about this all week. I mean, it came down to the fact that Chris Taylor was not getting regular playing time. He was a 200 hitter. There was redundancy there with Kike Hernandez, other right-handed hitters that have positional versatility. And then, by the sound of it from Dave Roberts, it was also that Chris Taylor wanted an opportunity to play every day. I actually asked Dave Roberts a few days ago about the decision to release Chris Taylor, and here's what he had to say.
I know it's been a couple of days, but just kind of about Chris a little bit. Even though you felt it was the right decision from a baseball and a roster standpoint, just how tough was that for you as a manager, knowing how you guys have had so much success together, and he's been here really almost your whole time?
It was tough. It was tough, and he handled the conversation really well. You know, he's had a lot of huge moments for us in the postseason, and played in as many games as any Dodger in history as far as the postseason experience. He always did what we asked and was always on board. And then you take what they did for Mary and Chris, what they did for the community with their foundation, and they're just very much givers. And I just hope that he wanted an opportunity, if it wasn't going to be here to play more, to play somewhere else. So that's kind of the thought behind how it played out. And I respect him for betting on himself, and hopefully gets an opportunity to play more somewhere else.
So that's Dave Roberts on Chris Taylor. It sounds like it was somewhat almost mutual by the sounds of that. I mean, we'll never know probably until months later, maybe years later, how it truly, truly went down. And I mean, I would love to interview Chris Taylor one day about it, and we'll see where he ends up. But yeah, I'm sure that he wanted to play every day, and that role got extremely reduced. I mean, just 35 at-bats in 46 games. I mean, they just did not play him, and it was time to move on. And, hey, the good news is you can say that, yeah, from a WAR standpoint, he didn't accrue a ton of it based on giving him $60 million, but they more than made up for it for the 2.9 WAR that he was averaging per season before they gave him that contract. So that's just sometimes how it works out. But yeah, that's really the skinny on Chris Taylor is they're paying him $13.3 million to not be a Dodger. He'll likely sign with another team on a minimum, and we'll see when that decision comes. I'm very curious to see where he ends up. Okay, a couple more questions, then we're going to get to you guys on the 7th inning stretch. Some more questions for this week's Dodgers Nation mailbag. This comes from Craig Osterberg. What's up, Craig? Do you think the medical staff should be looked into for all the injuries to players the last few years? I don't think so, because this is a league-wide issue. This is not something that's exclusive to the Dodgers, but what is more exclusive to the Dodgers is because of the fact that they do have a lot of money and resources to pay some of the best starters and relievers in the game, and the fact that they acquire starters and relievers that throw the hardest, that have the highest spin, that are the nastiest. Those are the guys that get injured. I mean, if you're a middling franchise that can't get guys that can throw triple digits and throw nasty stuff like Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell, you don't have to worry about pitcher injuries because they're not getting injured because they don't throw that kind of stuff. I mean, the statistics show that the harder you throw, the more susceptible you are for injuries. The higher spin rate, the more susceptible you are for injuries. Yes, arm angle can change things. Dustin May changes arm angle a little bit, so that can be a factor as well. But the truth of the matter is if you want to investigate anyone, investigate coaches at the youth level, at the travel ball level, at the high school level. I mean, the truth of the matter is this is an issue that goes way beyond the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is an issue that goes all the way down to young baseball players throwing way too hard too early. And when you're trying to go 100% on every pitch to try to get a college scholarship and try to get drafted, at some point you're going to break. The arm was not intended and built to throw a baseball as hard as it possibly can, 90 to 100 times a game. That's just how it is. And that is kind of the position that they are in. And Mark Pryor's talked about it. Mark Pryor's has talked about it a good amount, and the Dodgers, kind of where they're at, they are in a position where, hey, it's about trying to field the best rotation, the best bullpen, and because of that, that leads to injuries. Andrew Friedman said it's like a game of whack-a-mole, and things keep popping up, and we're doing the best we can to hit them down and keep our guys in a good spot to win as many games as we can. It's a good opportunity for some guys, and hopefully we'll get some reinforcements back. He also said the definition of enough depth, I think, is a fool's errand. I don't know what enough depth means. I think more is always better with pitching depth. And then Mark Pryor said, you got to bring your A game to almost every single batter now. There's probably some unquantifiable stress there that we are not, as an industry, just haven't quite grasped yet. I've been around for, I hate to say it now, 23, 24 years. Unfortunately, injuries are still in the game at a prevalent high level. I wish it wasn't, but it's an unfortunate side of the game. So that's just how it is. I mean, the Dodgers get the best pitchers, and the best pitchers, the ones that get injured. I mean, in simplest terms. I mean, think about this. If you want reliability in a car, go buy a Toyota Camry. Go get a Honda Accord, right? Those will drive 100,000, 200,000 miles. Change the oil, you're good. But if you drive an F1 car, that thing needs a lot of maintenance. That thing can go 200 plus miles per hour and bend corners, can also crash out, right? So the more complicated and high performing the car is, the more maintenance it requires and the more susceptible it can be to breaking down if you don't treat it right. So I think the Dodgers, they're doing the right thing, is they're trying to get as much depth as they possibly can, and they're trying to bank on these guys getting healthy. I will say this, kind of my theory too is this, though. I just want to point this out. I think that, yes, people are reacting strongly to these injuries, and I get it. It feels like every year, like I've said, it's like an episode of Squid Game, a season of Squid Game, just guys falling, dropping like flies every episode, right? But the truth is, I think that they're just being so overly cautious this year because of what happened last year, that all they're trying to do is get their best pitchers to October to be able to give them 4 or 5, possibly, who knows, 6 starts, right? And what made me believe this more so than ever is the fact that Blake Snell has been throwing, dealing with the shoulder injury and the inflammation. He goes to see Dr. Neil Elitrach, the best in the game, the Dodgers team doctor, worldwide leader in his craft, in his profession. And the very next day, Blake Snell was picking up a baseball and throwing again. That tells you that they're being so cautious. It's not like, oh, let's see Dr. Neil Elitrach, here's what he has to say, and then you're going to shut down for a couple weeks, then start throwing. No, you start throwing right away. So, I mean, guys like Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, Roki, I mean, if the postseason was tomorrow, could they be available? I think that is a good chance at least half of those guys would. So I think that it's just absolutely about getting through this dog day stretch. I mean, they had Paxton last year that was all about just eating innings throughout the season. Noah Syndergaard, they got a couple years ago. Just eat the innings, man. Let's try to get to the postseason with our best guys. And then we'll play the AAA game. We'll play the DFA game. We'll play the scrap heap game. We'll use the young pitchers to come up and eat innings. But we want our A1 guys ready when it's time to play and win a championship. So I think that's kind of where they're at with that. Now, to a couple more here, guys, we've got this is from Joseph562. D-Mac, if we do need to get a pitcher at the deadline, who should we go after? Couple quick ones. I mean, Sandy Alcantara, we talked about him, and he's kind of got off to a rocky start, starting to put together some better starts. The velocity is still there. He's under 2 more years of team control, very affordable, too. They're going to try to get a haul for him. I think the tier 1, Pablo Lopez having a good year. Zach Eflin, Framber Valdez having a good year. I don't think the Astros would trade him, but Zach Gallen, he's not going to be traded to the Dodgers as a Diamondback. But kind of a name that I've been looking at the last couple of days is Chris Bassett. So Chris Bassett, I think, if you were not going to get a couple of these guys back and you really felt like you just needed to upgrade that pitching staff, and remember that Jack Flaherty was really good, wasn't elite. And Chris Bassett, though, I mean, he's been really good this season. 2.83 ERA, the whip a little high at 12.21, but you're looking at a guy that a 1.43 ERA plus this season. He's 36 years old. If you look at his contract status, this is a guy that the Dodgers typically kind of would be after because he's on an expiring contract, just like Jack Flaherty was. So Chris Bassett's an interesting name if you needed to get a guy. Let's not forget, Shohei, if he comes back and pitches like an ace, it's like getting the best pitcher that could be available and would be available. But Bassett is a name that I just want to kind of plant there. If they need to go out there and make a move, that could be someone early on that could be interesting just because he doesn't impact your future rotation. Because in 2026, if guys get healthy, you have a pretty packed rotation. Of course, that's a problem that we always wish the Dodgers would have. But all right, guys, it's time for you to drop those comments, those questions. It's going to be all about you guys here on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
Niner faithful would rather have Outman back over Conforto. Outman just needs as much playing time as Conforto is getting to get his swing back. Interesting take. Defensively he's better for sure, but last year just was not good. And this year, just the strikeouts have piled up for sure. Prone to throw says Bassett shoved yesterday. Yeah, exactly, right? Jay, I agree. Bassett, we've got prone to throw. I think we'll be good sooner than later on our starters. I hope so. Big Joe Smash, D-Mac trade prospects for Logan Gilbert. Yeah, we've mentioned Logan Gilbert on this show a couple different times, and of course, he's nasty. He was dealing with an injury early on this season, but he hasn't pitched since 4/25. So he hasn't pitched since April 25. He's on the 15-day IL. So he's a guy that you kind of worry about. But yeah, I mean, Logan Gilbert's a guy. He's got more team control. He would be a little more of a commitment. You would have to give some more prospect capital for. But let's wait and see if he comes back healthy before we even consider a name like that. The last thing the Dodgers need is to trade for an injured pitcher. But all right, let's do some more, guys. We've got Adrian Gonzalez. Yo, D-Mac, knowing Blake Snell's injury, how do you feel that the Dodgers should have gone after Max Fried with how he's been pitching? So, look, I mean, I don't know if you saw yesterday's show. I dedicated a whole segment on it, and the truth is that Blake Snell was pitching through a shoulder inflammation injury that he probably shouldn't have, and Blake Snell has been a better pitcher in the second half of seasons, a sub-3 ERA. Last year, he had a 1.23 ERA in his last 80 and a third innings of work. So he was statistically the best pitcher in baseball in the second half of the season last year. So if Max Fried is going to be better in the first half, that's great. I like Max Fried. He's a really cool guy. Met him once. I'm happy for his success. Love the Harvard Westlake dudes, SoCal dudes having success. But I like Blake Snell's upside in the postseason. I still will say that for what the Dodgers are playing for, and that is success in October, Blake Snell, also on a shorter contract too, he gave Max Fried 8 years. I still think that I'll live with the Blake Snell signing right now, hoping that he comes back and dominates like we've seen him for sure. Ellis Jones, D-Mac, Zach Wheat, a Hall of Fame Dodger. Today is his birthday. Awesome. Yeah, Zach Wheat, one of the greatest Dodgers of all time. Happy birthday to Zach Wheat, Dodgers legend as always. 12-game stretch here, including the backs. We'll see what this team is made of. Tortas or tortoises from Millix Felix. That's a comment of the show. Rego Hurtado. Outman would be nice if he didn't have swing every single at-bat. He just needs to swing with confidence instead of changing his mind mid-swing every game. Bilal K. D-Mac is not allowed to say that the Dodgers were wrong. What are you talking about? My opinions are my own, okay? And I had Blake Snell number one on my list as a free agent pitcher. And like I said, ask me this question. Who's a better second-half pitcher, Blake Snell or Max Fried? The answer is Blake Snell. Who's been a better pitcher in the postseason, Blake Snell or Max Fried? It's Blake Snell. So this team is all about winning World Series titles, and I still think that right now, if he can get healthy and pitch like we know he can, then you feel good about it. If he gets injured and he misses significant time or he's not the pitcher that he once was, yeah, then I will gladly take the L. I will, but right now I still have confidence that Blake Snell comes back and pitches like the Cy Young that we know him to be. Remember, it's the highest strikeouts per nine in the history of Major League Baseball. Dodgers, we've got Roy Starter Carl in the chat. Snell, we got Bob Levine. Watch Snell will be great for the Dodgers. Bregman will never be a Dodger from Adam Young. Yeah, no thanks for Alex Bregman. Only good thing is you could boo him 81 times a year, but I do not want that dude on my team. Alex Bregman, I mean, they stole a World Series from this team, man. They did. And I mean, they stole a World Series from this team, okay? And he's a good Blau K. It's too early. It's too early. It's TBD. You can't say that it was the wrong decision right now because it hasn't been October. So what if so? Let me tell you this: if Blake Snell comes back and pitches better than Max Fried and is a game 1 or 2 starter, makes 5 starts in the postseason, how could you say that it's wrong? So it's still TBD. The truth is, it's still TBD on that decision. So I'll live with that for sure. But all right, guys, couple more here. We got Dr. V. Bregman or anyone associated with the 2017 trash shows will never be welcome here, nor should any ever be considered for the Hall of Fame. I love that take. And I totally agree for sure. Bilal K, can you guarantee that he will be the best, second best? I can't guarantee anything, man. I can only tell you what has been consistent throughout his career, and you just have to have faith in the pitcher. And look, he's been really good for the last 3 years, 4 years, really. I mean, he's been fantastic for a long, long time. So, yeah. And do you take the L on Conforto? I'll take the L on Conforto. I mean, I think that what you saw in Conforto, what the Dodgers saw on Conforto was obvious, and that was that he hit the ball really hard last season. He was really good outside of Oracle Park. He had 17 of his 20 home runs out of San Francisco. Has not been the hitter that they hoped he would be. Still early. They paid him $17 million. I think that he's another guy that is better in the second half of his career than now. So, I mean, let's see what he does for the rest of the way. You've seen an uptick in hard contact. He's lifting a little more. And we see this every year. Guys struggle. They go in slumps. And this team is all about being in the best position when it matters most. So, what would you rather have? Michael Conforto being awful now and good in the second half, or good now and awful in the second half? So hopefully they can kind of flip the script on him as well. Go see Kike's eye doctor, something like that. But all right, guys, we got Claudia Levin. Lindor needs a reminder that Buehler will always be a Dodger. All right, awesome. So let's go to the walk-off. We'll talk about just that.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right She is gone!
So Walker effing Buehler dropping way too many F-bombs. And he said on Twitter after he went to Twitter, and you know that Walker Buehler is not afraid to drop a tweet. And so Francisco Lindor, he was trying to essentially bait Walker Buehler. He was happy that he got ejected. And Walker Buehler tweeted, "I wouldn't want me out there either. Sad thing is the bullpen is full of effing animals. Tough choice." So there was that, and this kind of stems from back in the NLCS. Walker Buehler kind of barking at Francisco Lindor, them kind of going back and forth a little bit. And I love this about Buehler. He's always going to show his emotion. He's never going to back down. You don't have to be a John Boy level lip reader to hear what Walker Buehler said here. Why? It's right down the effing middle. It's right down the effing middle. F you. Walker Buehler. I was talking to Clayton Kershaw about it in the clubhouse a couple of days ago, and he said, "Hey, that's Walker Buehler, man. One F-bomb you may get away with. Two, you're probably going to just get sent to the showers. And the third one, yeah, you're going to get ejected." And it was a bad call. It was a bad call. Clayton Kershaw also told me that he wants to experience the automated balls and strikes, man. He's all for the ABS system as well. And I think that, that was a bad call. And Walker effing Buehler doing Walker effing Buehler things, and you love to see that. And, hey, yeah, once a Dodger, always a Dodger. Never forget that. And we'll see tonight how that Mets team fares against his Dodgers team, because we know that they got to still be stinging and hurt from last year's NLCS loss. But love me some Butane. He's a dog. He's the man. I miss him in Dodger blue. I'm glad that he's getting opportunities with the Red Sox. I don't think it was a mistake not to bring him back, but you do kind of miss that energy from Butane. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC under. Actually, yeah. Oh, let's read some more comments here. And I see you guys down below. Okay, you guys are going. This is going off the rails. It is going off the rails. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. See you guys after the game. A big night in New York, Flushing, Queens, for the Dodgers going up against the New York Mets. Clayton Kershaw on the mound tonight. Should be an exciting one. It's going to be a postseason-like atmosphere, so you don't want to miss it. 3 nationally televised games for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's going to be big time. So we'll see you guys after the game. Enjoy the game, and you guys can find me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Join the Discord. That is also big time for us. If you join that Discord, we definitely want to see that. And then, if you want to do me the biggest favor, go to the Big Lead. If you're a Lakers fan, on the Big Lead, we're giving away a Luka Doncic jersey to the first 2,000 subscribers we get. We're giving one away. Just comment Luka Magic down below. So definitely be sure to do just that. And then also remember, guys, number one thing is, remember, nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.